Oh, Jorge, I can't believe top 3. Oh, and then a finale? I don't think I'm strong enough for this kind of... Oh, hey! Hi, it's me, Wilma Fingerdoo, with the Fingerdoo review of Canada's Drag Race Season 1, Episode 9. And before we get started, I would love to send out just a quick little shout out to a bunch of tipperdoos who were able to pop by and support the channel. Charlie Green, God bless you, Charlie Green. You're such a doll. And Charlie has been just leaving me little messages on YouTube. And I just want to say to everyone, I love getting messages. Even if it's just a little, hey, I'll answer you. At worst, I'll like it, definitely. Sometimes I don't know what to say. Do you know what I mean? But Charlie's one of those people I'm always happy to see on the YouTube feed and, of course, on Instagram. So thank you, Charlie. I also want to send out another thank you to John Dwyer, you big flirt. Great supporter and such a great friend. And another one who I love to see a message from on the tubes. I also want to send another thank you to Joe Van Patten. He has tipped before, and here he is tipping again. Thank you, Joe. My favorite hippie, Preston Firestone. And I just want to say thank you again, Preston. He assured me that he is wearing pants. So now all is right in the world. And finally, Susan, I'm going to say your name wrong because I'm Canadian and it seems to be my lot in life. I don't know what it is. Canada's so international, and we have such a great mosaic of cultures here. And I am exposed to a lot of names. I grew up in a very Greek, Italian, Portuguese neighborhood, and then there were just a lot of languages in my neighborhood that were spoken, and I have retained none of it. So Susan's last name is Nicoloi. I'm going to say, it looks like Nikolai with an O before the I. So Nicoloi. Nicoloi? Susan Nicoloi. Oh, that sounds nice. Anyway, Susan, if you feel like it, message me and tell me how I'm saying that wrong, won't you? So thanks to all of you. I also want to send a shout out to John Montgomery, who bought a set of Denise Journaux's Wilma illustrations. He got them in a set of magnets, and they're up on his fridge right now. And I just want to say thank you so much, John. All of the proceeds that I get, and by that I mean whatever money that Redbubble sends me when you guys buy one of Denise's drawings or a group of them, they will, the money that they send me, all of that will be going to Rainbow Railroad, and always will. I'm not doing that just for a little bit. As long as we have Denise's drawings on my Redbubble page, that's where that money will be going. And I should be getting in the next couple of days my first bit of money from Redbubble. I'm hoping anyway. The next time I get some money from Redbubble, it will have the first money coming in from Denise's drawing. So I will keep you all posted as to how that's doing and what money we've raised. I'm hoping that we can make $10,000 so that, because they said on Drag Race last week that $10,000 was the amount that was it needed to help somebody get out of a country. So I would like to at least do that. I think that 10,000 is easy enough to do. I mean, I'm not saying it's easy enough to do because I don't have it, but I think I with no timeline in place, we'll get there. I'm so serious. I also want to send a shout out to Denise Journaux because apparently I'm challenged on some geographical level. Here's the thing. Denise Journaux always ends her emails to me, kisses from Denmark. And I have been going around saying that she's from Holland. Now, the only reason I can imagine why I think that Denise is from Holland is because I'm a bit of a fan of Nikki Tutorials, and Nikki Tutorials is from Holland, so maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But that little part of the world, that little pocket of Europe, for me, is fascinating because I have no referencing to it whatsoever. Even though the Dutch and Canada have a good history together, Holland and Canada have a good history together, I've just never been. I don't really know anyone from there, and I'm so excited now to know some people. So hopefully, and I have to tell you, I don't know, this is not here or there. It certainly has nothing to do with Denmark, but the Eurovision, the story of Fire Saga, Will Ferrell's movie. I love Eurovision. I love Europe, and I think Eurovision is a great cross section of Europe. And I think as North Americans, we're so far from them. And we just don't get what it's like to live cheek to jowl with all these countries. So I have to say I've been thinking a lot about that part of the world lately, mostly because of Will Ferrell and his movie on Netflix. There. I think I'm done. I think I cleared all those cobwebs out. So, there's only one thing left to do. Jorge! Drink me! What is this? This looks very plain. And oh, gin and tonic. Oh, a classic. Oh, good. All right. I love a classic. We're going through the summer cocktails. Cranberry and soda last week. G&T this week. Oh, complete and utter rehabilitation. Next, I don't know what. So, let's get to it. We started this episode off by saying goodbye to Rita's main squeeze, Lemon. And I have to say, I thought it was so cute that Rita had a crush. I also thought it was cuter that Rita wore a lemon t-shirt with a black background to symbolize loss. Who can say what Lemon thought? Well, I can. She thought they were all dumb and ugly. Well, at least that's what she wrote on the mirror. Seriously. Now I can see why Rita was only going to miss her for 2 minutes. So fickle. Still, it's 2 minutes longer than Priyanka, who got over her best friend in the competition's elimination, PDQ, IMS. Speaking of shade, Scarlett got shaded big time when she asked Rita what it was like to lip sync for the first time in the competition. Well, Rita clapped back with, "You don't know what it's like to win anything either." So you could see that the pressure's starting to get to La Reine de Montreal. As for Jimbo and Priyanka, from this picture, they were loving it. Seriously. So, to change the subject, Priyanka made it all about her. Again. And why wouldn't she? She won her second challenge. She redeemed herself on the runway, even in that wig. But somehow, she was still able to shade Scarlett's winless presence in the top 4. I'm sorry, how many times has Priyanka been in the bottom? Twice. 2 times she's been in the bottom. And that little nugget of truth was the only thing warming Scarlett's heart underneath all that shade. Seriously. The next day in the workroom, as the girls mulled over being top 4, Jimbo had a little internal monologue with himself about how he thought the only competition for him was Rita and Priyanka. Thank God Rue's video message stopped him from waxing poetic, I'm just saying. And then all of a sudden my day got better because Stacy McKenzie walked into the workroom. And I just have to say, I know a lot of people have been commenting on the socials how they've been judging the judges this season. They're not too happy with a few of them. But I just have to say, I love Stacy McKenzie. I always have. I loved her when I would pore over the fashion magazines that she was in. I loved her cameo in The Fifth Element. I loved her when she was the runway coach on America's Next Top Model. I love her voice. I just love her. And the one thing I like the most about her is she's always a lady. Even when she's being critical, she doesn't come at it from a hateful place. She's very supportive and constructive. So here's to you, Stacy. Way to keep it classy. And with Stacy came this week's mini challenge, a screen test with comedian and writer Sabrina Jalise. The queens had to sing the Canadian national anthem, and the one with the funniest audition would win, which is no small feat because there is nothing funny about the Canadian national anthem. So the queens got into quick drag and reconvened in the green screen studio, and for the most part, I thought they all did okay. But nobody was funnier than Sabrina Jalise. Of course, I think that was in her contract. Who did I think was the best? Well, I have to say that Rita Baga made me laugh the most. And for the most part, the judges seemed to agree because she won the mini challenge. What I was surprised to hear, though, was that this, episode 9, was her first mini challenge win. Guess you can't win them all. And then Stacy let him have it with the Maxi challenge. It was the snowball. The queens would have to present 3 looks on the runway. The first one, executive holiday party realness. Then the icy walk of shame. And for the final category, ice princess realness, the queens would have to make that look themselves from scratch. Much to Scarlett's chagrin. Again. Right away, the queens made a dash to the Snowball Fixins, which was my drag queen name in high school. And for the most part, I have to say, they were very polite about it. There was one brief incident where I thought there would be fisticuffs when Bobo asked Jimbo if she could have some of the fabric that she had. And Jimbo said, no, sorry. So Canadian. I would also like to have a moment to say that sorry is spelled with an O. Sorry, not an A. Sorry. You wear a sorry. Just saying. Once the queens got settled into creating their Ice Queen fantasy, Rita assessed the room. And she felt that because everyone was so eclectic, the only way that she was going to win this challenge was to bring her best. Has she been saving it? Priyanka, like so many queens before, was full of dreams and good intentions, but at the end of the day, sewing's hard, which is Priyanka speak for glue gun, which is exactly what she grabbed, and a corset. Gluing stuff to a corset. Groundbreaking. Jimbo was shocked to hear that Priyanka had never been to an après ski party. Well, I got news for you, Jimbo. Most people east of BC have never been to a before, during, or after ski party, whether they're POC or not. So you're in good company, Priyanka. Just saying. Poor Bobo, her joy at making it to top 4 was starting to become a distant dream as this sewing challenge started to take her through it. But Jimbo was right. With all the whinging and whining that Scarlet Bobo is capable of doing, it was just easier for Jimbo to help her. In theory. Of course, Jimbo's not very good at giving directions. Saying something 4 times doesn't make it easier to understand, Jimbo. Just saying. Thank God Stacy arrived to check on everyone's progress. Her first stop was Miss Rita Baga, and even though Rita had won 2 design challenges before, she wasn't taking anything for granted with this one, except for maybe the fact that she knew she was going to be in the top 4. But don't get cocky now, Rita, seriously. Priyanka was next, and as proud as she was to make it to the top 4, she wasn't about to forget what a rocky road it was that got her there. I'm so serious. As for her Ice Queen look, she didn't want to reveal too much to Stacy. She wanted it to be a surprise on the runway. That's what she said. Personally, I think she didn't want to tell Stacy what she was doing. She still didn't have any idea. Come on, Priyanka, time's a ticking. Bobo shared with Stacy how, when she entered the workroom for the first time, she had it all planned out. She knew exactly how it was all going to come together and how that plan fell apart almost immediately. Then, Stacy asked Bobo about her work with the community, which I thought was odd because she hadn't asked anybody else and it just seemed kind of out of left field. So the only reason I think this question came up was because maybe a producer asked Stacy to ask that so that Bobo could tell people what she's done. She's done some great work for the community. I'm not disputing that at all. But I think the whole point was to up her TVQ and possibly get us ready for a Bobo win. No. During Jimbo's visit with Stacy, Jimbo admitted that she wasn't surprised to be in the top 4 because her plan all along was to win the whole shebang. But before the other queens could add their 2 cents to that plan, Stacy announced that this week's guest host was none other than Mama Michelle Visage herself. Well, to say the queens freaked out is an understatement. I'm so serious. Heck, I almost pooped my panties and I'm not even on the show. Seriously. I'm lying. I'm not wearing panties. Well, if the queens weren't aiming for runway couture before, they certainly were now. But that didn't stop Jimbo from shading all the other queens because she had to win this. Rita shaded Scarlet for her lack of sewing skills in a sewing challenge, and Scarlet just wanted to know why her sewing machine was sabotaging her at every turn. People think it's robots, but seriously, sewing machines. That's how the uprising will start. And then it was elimination day, and the queens were stressed out. Not only was Mama Michelle going to be there, but for Priyanka, if she landed in the bottom again, it would be her 3rd time, and she would definitely be going home. So she thought a better pairing for the bottom would be Jimbo and Scarlett. Finally cracked the seal on that no lip syncing thing they got going on. Of course, they were thrilled with that idea. As the queens got ready, they reflected on who was cheering for them back home. For Priyanka, no surprise, it was her mom. Rita's dad was leading the cheer for her back in Montreal. Look at Papa Baga. Cutie. Just like Baby Spice, Scarlett said that her mom is her best friend. Shh. But it also sounds like they had a bad go of it with Scarlett's dad. And I have to say, it's hard to grow up in an alcoholic home. I know. But I have to say, they both look better and stronger for it. So here's to both of them. You can see where Scarlett gets her tenacity from. Seriously. As for Jimbo, he had Vancouver Island, the province of British Columbia, and the entire Kitchener-Waterloo region cheering him on, which I think is Jimbo's way of saying, Jimbo gets around. The queens also talked about ball culture and what it has done for the drag community. But I felt that this was another forced conversation from production to explain to the families watching what a ball is, for those who don't know. But I mean, if you've watched Paris is Burning or The Queen or, well, the series Legendary, then you already knew all that. Seriously. And then it was time for the runway with this week's guest host, Michelle Visage. And the first category up was Executive Holiday Party Realness. And the first queen out of the typing pool was Jimbo. And I just have to say right out of the gate, I loved this jacket. I thought this was a great look. And then for me, Jimbo went and ruined it by flashing everyone her figgy pudding. Well, it is the season of giving. I loved Rita's office party look from the waist up, but that jacket was a weird length. It was very, and I have to also say, I didn't like the skirt or shorts she had on with the boots. It took it into dominatrix territory for me. I think it would have looked better with like a wide leg pant or something. But the other thing was, it wasn't a very festive look, period. I mean, not even a Christmas brooch. Priyanka took this category hands down. God, this was the best office party look ever. You just tell that girl works in HR. I liked that Scarlett had a gift in her hands off the top because, like Rita, her suit wasn't very festive, except that it was gorgeous on her. It was tailored impeccably. It fit her like a suit. The next category was the Icy Walk of Shame, and nobody was less shameful than Jimbo. You can tell she's been to a lot of après-ski parties. Rita Baga's Icy Walk of Shame was more character-driven, and I was living for it. She looks like one of those girls that passes out at a frat party and wakes up with more clothes on. Just saying. Priyanka's Icy Walk of Shame seemed to be riddled with pride. Pride at being a Canadian slut. Bobo had a lot of nerve walking out on that runway in front of Michelle Visage in a onesie, I'm so serious. But she styled it beautifully. The leg warmers, the little scarf, earmuffs, hair combo, and her padding. Oh my God, her body was so beautiful. It distracted me from all of that sweet cream icing that was melting down. Barf. And then it was time for the Ice Queen's eleganza. Jimbo was first, and her Ice Queen had a lot going on. And unfortunately, that wig hid most of it. Rita's Ice Queen had a lot going on as well. The only thing it was missing, well, was a slit up the back so she could walk in it. I'm so serious. I also would like to say I was disappointed that I could see all of that foam that she used as a structure, but at least she painted it silver-ish. All I can say for Priyanka is it took a lot of balls for her to walk down that runway in front of Michelle Visage in that. Seriously, there was so much crap glued to that corset that her waist was nowhere to be seen. And that construction paper attempt at a hoop skirt. Seriously, I think it would have been better if Priyanka had just covered herself in glue and rolled around in all of that crap directly. Paper hoop skirt. What was she thinking? And then the whinging queen who put everyone through it because she doesn't sew walked out on the runway in this. This was gorgeous. I don't know what it looked like up close, but as far as an audience reaction, it was stunning. And the thing that made it the most stunning was it wasn't a traditional princess look. It really made Bobo stand out. Look who wants to win a challenge. And then it was time for the judges' critiques. For the most part, they all seemed to like Jimbo's 3 looks, except they did say that his Ice Princess look seemed awkward. It kept tripping him up, and, well, the crown seemed hard to stay on her head. And much to Jimbo's chagrin, Michelle Visage said she wasn't a fan of his makeup. I've been saying this all season. I feel his makeup is too stark. It's too harsh. It's too white. But then maybe that might be a carryover from her clown days. I don't know. Rita was next, and JBC wasn't a fan of her office party look, mostly because he was expecting her to have a reveal. Well, I've been expecting him to wear normal pants all season, so I guess we're both going to have to live with disappointment. Michelle Visage loved Rita's walk of shame, but as for her Ice Princess look, Brooklyn Heights was still looking for a waist and a butt, because she's insatiable, and Stacy was disappointed that she could see the foam bits in her bodice. Foam bits was my drag queen name in high school. The judges loved Priyanka's office party look, and why wouldn't they? But they got progressively less impressed with her looks as they went on. They all seemed to be divided on her walk of shame, and nobody liked her Ice Princess, especially Michelle Visage. And then it was Scarlett Bobo's turn. Even though they all agreed that her office party look wasn't very festive, the judges loved that she wore a suit and that it fit her so well. Mama Michelle wasn't so thrilled about her walk of shame onesie, but the thing that saved her from complete judgment was how great her padding was and the distracting fact that the rest of the judges seemed to be in a big debate over what it was exactly that was hanging off her shoulders. I'm just saying. But everybody agreed that Scarlett's Ice Princess extravaganza was a showstopper, mostly because she went in a totally different direction than everybody else. Story of Scarlett's life. And then it was time for one of my least favorite parts of the race to the crown. What would you say to your younger self? This is always such an emotional pimping. Of course there's tears. Of course there's words of encouragement. I mean, who would ever stand in front of a picture of their younger self and say, "End it now"? Seriously. What would I say to my younger self? Well, I would say thank you. I don't know how that little kid got this big old moose this far, but I couldn't have done it without him. Seriously. And then it was time for the queens to untuck, and the one thing they all seemed to agree on was that this could be the week that Scarlett Bobo wins her first challenge. I'm so serious. They also reflected on what it was like to be judged by Michelle Visage. Wow, Priyanka got schmammered. She was two-fisting it at one point, and so it's no surprise to me that she was feeling no shame by the time she started making fun of Jimbo because Michelle Visage hated her makeup. Well, that's when Jimbo unleashed the beast again and read Priyanka to filth. It actually started to get uncomfortable, and then I realized that Jimbo was joking. See, it's hard to tell with that makeup. And then the queens returned to the runway, where it was announced that Bobo had finally broken the curse and won her first challenge. Good for Bobo. Not only did she win a challenge, but she also won a trip for 2 to Vienna, Austria. Let's hope she took it already. Priyanka was safe even in that paper whatever it was she was wearing, which put Rita in the bottom again with Jimbo, who was finally breaking the seal on that no lip sync run of hers. I'm so serious. And can I just take a moment to point out that this puts Scarlett Bobo in the Never Had to Lip Sync club, along with Bianca Del Rio, Sasha Velour, Aquaria, just to name a few. And those few, by the way, also won their seasons. Just saying. As for this lip sync, both queens couldn't have had more awkward outfits on to perform in. I'm so serious. But I think Rita had an easier go of it, especially after she cut that long skirt off. But Jimbo, I was disappointed. For somebody who said she wasn't afraid to stomp a bit, she seemed to pussyfoot around that stage. Far too much, if you ask me. Rita even got down on the stage and gave us her version of the snowplow. She was animated. But Jimbo, I don't know, even when she straddled Rita, I thought, okay, here's where the stomping begins. But no, she just wandered off, leaving Rita wanting more. And Rita wasn't the only one either, I'm so serious. For all her bravado and big talk, no one was more disappointed in Jimbo's lip sync than I. So it was no surprise to me that Rita shantaed into the top 3 and Jimbo sashayed away, but not before delivering, I'm going to just go out on a limb and say, the best exit line in the history of Drag Race ever. Why? There you go, our top 3. Are you happy? Or are you disappointed Jimbo left and Rita stayed? I'll tell you right now, my picks for top 3 were Jimbo, Rita, and Scarlett. And my wild card pick was Priyanka. So the fact that I missed out on Jimbo and Priyanka's in there, I'm very happy with this top 3. I think it's a good eclectic representation of Canadian drag. And I would like to say that even though this is our top 3, we met some fantastic queens that we had never known before. So all in all, this was such a fun season, but I can't wait to see how it all pans out. I am going to predict a Rita Baga win because I feel like that's the way it's being pushed. I would love to see Scarlett win because I love an underdog story. Priyanka, she's good TV. I'll tell you, either way, any one of these 3 winning, I would not have a problem with. How about you? What do you think? Are you happy with this top 3? Are you upset? Is there somebody that got kicked out, like Lemon, before and you wish they were here now? Let me know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to like this video if you haven't. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't. I mean, especially if this is our 3rd or 4th visit, clearly this is running deeper than just a passing interest on either of our parts. So commit to it and subscribe to my channel. If you'd like to support the channel as well, you can do so. There are links in the description box below for my PayPal account, my Patreon account, and for Redbubble, where I have merch and the Denise Cherneau Wilma Fingerdoo illustrations, where all of the proceeds that I get from those sales will go directly to the Rainbow Railroad Foundation. There you go, 1 more episode left. All we can do is tune in and see how it all falls out, and then you come on back and you see me so you and I can compare notes. Until then, miss me! Seriously, it's exciting. I didn't expect to be this excited by that.